What's up guys, and welcome back to another video, and in fact this is actually my 2000th video. I've been putting it off for a while, but this seemed like a good sort of time to jump in. So, of course, I'm sure most of you heard already, there was a Pokemon conference last night, or at least early morning or similar in Japan, where they revealed basically 3 new games. 2 of them were revealed properly, one of them was announced, I guess you could say, or re-announced if you want to go with that. So I'm going to give a quick overview of what was happening then, just to clarify a few things, and then we're going to jump into the analysis and also just my thoughts in general on Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, as well as also Pokemon Quest. So as I mentioned, there were 3 games announced. One did actually come out though. So Pokemon Quest is a mobile game, and also a Nintendo Switch game. It's out on Nintendo Switch now, so you can pick it up. It's free to play, and as you may have guessed, free to play mobile game. You know what it's going to be like. You have energy, you go on expeditions as they call them, and your energy goes down. You have to wait half an hour for it to recharge. So it's a very, it's probably ported straight from mobile onto Nintendo Switch, so you can't pick it up expecting to play the game properly as you would any other Nintendo Switch game. You have to play it like a mobile game. It's a decent game. I've played maybe an hour or 2 of it. Basically, it's, if you've played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, or Xenoblade Chronicles 1 of course, basically it's a Rails game, so you have 3 Pokemon in your party. They do their auto-attacking, and also they have moves to use, which you can then use. You can do other stuff like set that to fully auto as well, but of course then you're not even playing the game, hence why it's a bit like a mobile game and it's not fully like a huge game, but it's a bit fun, so play it, why not. It's out on Switch now. It's coming to mobile in June, I think, so give it a shot, why not, it's free. Then of course the other game that was announced was Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. These were the infamous Pokemon Switch games. Of course, as I'm sure many have heard, they did actually leak maybe a week or 2 ago. I didn't cover it at all. I saw it and I thought, okay, cool, if it's real, meh. What the information that was coming out wasn't particularly reinforcing. However, the conference helped clear a lot of that stuff up. So it's a Pokemon Yellow remake, or sort of spiritual clone for the Switch, and it's heavily builds in a lot of Pokemon Go mechanics. Now this is what in the leaks was off-putting to most people, because it's the Pokemon Go catching, and that just seems weird to incorporate in a core RPG for Pokemon. But as I'm sure many of you haven't heard of it before, are now sort of saying, what, we have to deal with, Pokemon Go mechanics in all of our Pokemon games from now on? No, that's not the case, because as I mentioned, they also announced another game or set of games alongside this, and this is the new core series title for the end of 2019, so next year. So while Pokemon Let's Go will come out towards the end of this year, we get proper core RPG next year. So Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is not a main series game. If anything, it is, it's a spin-off game, but it's very close to the main series. It's a side series, you could call it. It features a very, similar set of mechanics, but there are a few changed, and it's not part of the main series, of course, as we'll find out as we go and discuss through it. So the new core game will be coming out next year, which is reassuring because it means that, okay, we don't have to deal with Pokemon Go mechanics in the games, which is, would be a bit iffy. And it'll be more similar to the previous games we had in the series, X, Y, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, etc. It's also reassuring in the fact that we get an extra year, or really they get an extra year to develop it, because as we know, Pokemon games, new generations come out every 4, maybe 5 years, which is not a very quick turnaround, but it's not a particularly long turnaround when you think of the large game series like Elder Scrolls and such. Of course, they're very different games, but generally it's a very tight turnaround for Pokemon, because they make a new generation, that game comes out, they're straight onto like a remake or something, and then they're also straight onto the next generation after that, sort of recycling over and over and over. And this quick turnaround, especially if it was to come out this year, would be 1 year after Sun and Moon, or Sun Ultra Moon, which means that, again, it's a very tight turnaround, and the game might not necessarily be fully polished and as nice as we could have it. Thinking about Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, there was a lot of stuff left out and stuff like that. So it's reassuring in that sense. So if you don't like the sound of Pokemon Let's Go, that's okay, because you're getting a core game series next year. If you do, cool, pick it up, you can play it. It's just another game to sort of spread you over. And also got to remember, with Super Smash Bros. Coming out for Switch towards the end of this year, there is a lot of hype generated around that, and of course Nintendo might not necessarily want it to clash with Pokemon, because they are very big hitters in terms of selling for the Nintendo consoles. So that's all the stuff that was revealed. Let's Go is what we're going to talk about mainly because we have no new information on the core title, because they've just told us. Basically, they revealed Let's Go, and they know a lot of people in the community are going to be very judgmental of it, won't like the style, but basically at the same time they announced, oh yeah, by the way, please don't hate us, you're getting your own game as well. The Let's Go games are just going to be trying to get Pokemon Go players to buy Nintendo Switches, and that really is all it's going to be. But we will go into it and have a look over it now. So in terms of the general, I guess, information we have about it, there's quite a few. So as mentioned, it's like a spiritual remaking of Pokemon Yellow. It's only going to feature the first 151 Pokemon, as well as some Alolan forms apparently, so maybe you'll get to see Alolan Raichu and stuff, however that might work, because I guess it's an original 151 Pokemon, who knows. But they're set in Kanto, obviously remake of Pokemon Yellow, and depending on the version you buy, either Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee, that's your starter Pokemon. So there's no choice in these games. You get Pikachu or Eevee depending on which version you buy. So of course, choose wisely. And because they are starter Pokemon, it's very likely that they won't be able to evolve. In Pokemon Yellow, I don't think you could evolve the original Pikachu. So it'll be very similar for these as well, and for other reasons we'll get onto later on. So we're going to look over the pre-release screenshots and such that I managed to gather from the trailer, talk about a few things, and also just give my thoughts as we go through. So story and location wise, obviously it's based in the Kanto region, and we have some cool cinematics here of Pikachu and Eevee being picked up as the starters. Now, due to character design mostly, Pikachu is picked by the male here because he looks a lot like Ash, that makes sense, just playing to some of the TV crowd there, and Eevee is also picked by the female. Now we have no idea if you're locked to this, so if you buy Let's Go Pikachu, you play as a male character, you get Pikachu. If you buy Let's Go Eevee, you play as a female character and you get Eevee. No idea if it's linked to that at all. It might just be choices of, marketing for this. It makes it easier to lock one to the other, and the girl's sort of design is matched a lot to Eevee's as well with her hair, so it does make sense in that aspect, but there's no clarification. We haven't seen it either way, but I would imagine you'd be able to choose whether you play as male or female. That's a very simple thing for them to add to the game. So we have a few little cinematic scenes and shots, so obviously because they know you're going to have this particular partner with you maybe through the whole game. Maybe if you switch them out of your party, they are still there with you. They ride on your hat or on your shoulder, so I would imagine they'd actually make it work that way even if they're not battling with you, so I'd hope that would happen at least. But we have obviously a few different shots. You see Professor Oak, obviously it's pretty much an exact remake of Yellow. Just general shots of the area of Kanto. The design looks very similar to Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon, as well as X and Y. There are obviously improved graphics because it's a console, but there's no overhaul of area design, I'd say. It's still based square-like area, and you've still got to deal with all that stuff. But the design is a bit similar to Detective Pikachu as well. So one possibility for releasing this game as well is also it's sort of a tester. It's a tester, okay? For the actual core series games, they could test out a few different new mechanics here and then see how it goes down. Same with graphics and design and area design and to actually determine. So because if these games flop, it's not going to be a huge issue because it's aimed at the Pokemon Go crowd, and if they don't buy the games, then okay, you're not going to get the crowd from Pokemon Go. Whereas if you try out this stuff in the main series, you risk alienating a lot of older players who then wouldn't come back to try the next games after, even if they remove those mechanics. So it's possible that they're trying out a few new things here, but generally the area design is very similar to Sun and Moon, just with a slight up boost in terms of the quality and stuff like that. We do learn that Team Rocket's here. Of course, if it's a remake of Yellow, that only makes sense, and of course we have the cutscene with Mewtwo as well that we would expect because we're going to be battling to who'd have guessed. So then we move on to sort of the controversial stuff, and that is the catching mechanic mostly here. So to catch Pokemon in the game, there is no battling wild Pokemon anymore. No battling wild Pokemon. You battle trainers, cool, but you don't battle wild Pokemon. You run into a wild Pokemon, and very similar to Pokemon Go, you get 4 options. Get ready, items, help, run away. So get ready is just get ready to catch. Items, possibly you can use some items to increase the catch rate, stuff like that. Help, maybe that's to do with some form of online functionality, or maybe, as we'll talk about in a minute, the local multiplayer, stuff like that. Or run away, which is just obviously just run away, who would have guessed. And you just swing a Joy-Con, to throw the Pokeball, very similar to how you swipe with your finger on Pokemon Go to match up the sort of the circle area and catch the Pokemon. You can also do this in tabletop mode with one Joy-Con because it's played with one Joy-Con, so that's that really. Which leads on to dual play, and dual play is where the second Joy-Con comes in. Because you can control with one controller, you have the joystick to move, the A button, obviously the Joy-Con to throw, and then navigate the menu and press A, and that's really it. You can play with 2 players, local multiplayer. Grab the second Joy-Con, your friend joins, and then you can run around together. Similarly there, in terms of catching Pokemon, you can both throw Pokeballs together, so you can see on this screen you have player 1 and player 2. Obviously more options for player 1 because help, again I guess that would then mean online help, stuff like that, who knows, we haven't got any clarification on that yet, but of course it's very similar. You throw 2 Pokeballs at once and it just increases the catch rate, and possibly this is a critical capture. Critical captures obviously are in the main series, but you get a different animation when you hit it at the same time, and I would assume it's a critical capture because it doesn't do the shake, it just catches it. So maybe if you're playing 2-player it makes it a lot easier, and of course just means that people that are playing on their own are just going to get a second Joy-Con and just do it together. Who would have guessed? But it's not a core series game, so I can't really see them being too bothered about it. One thing worth pointing out there is when you have on the screen here, Clefairy level 10, CP 60. Now again, CP is a mechanic from Pokemon Go. I don't play Pokemon Go because there is nothing around me, so I cannot play Pokemon Go. But CP is just like power, basically. So that seems to be a mechanic they're bringing through, maybe simplifying it a lot. So maybe you're not going to have attack, defense, at least not visible. Maybe it's just going to be CP, and it's going to be a lot simpler game. That seems to be where it's going anyway. So thank God it's not core series, basically. But that's your dual play really. We don't know too much more about it, apart from the fact that you can do trainer battles in dual play as well. So if we check out some game UI, if you run into a trainer here, you both go into battle and it just becomes 2v1. It doesn't become a double battle, just 2v1. At least, well, the bug catcher Kale here has only got 1 Pokemon, so maybe if he had more than 1 he'd send both out, who knows. But you can see some of the game UI here, and this is important to look at because even if we're not bothered about this game, it's likely it's going to have some hand in the main series game, because you could keep very similar sort of UI designs, okay? You can change the style up a bit, but the structure could be very similar in how it plays out. So obviously you've got Venonat's health bar, and then Bulbasaur's and Pikachu's at the bottom left. The moves is where we want to look at really here, because it looks like we have 1 move assigned to each button on the controller. So you see, oh no, maybe not. Nope, my bad. So the Bulbasaur picture is obviously easier to see. You can see Leech Seed, Poison Powder, Sleep Powder. I thought the icons to the left were like A, B, X, Y, but they're not. So obviously you've got to navigate through it, but it's a very clean UI. Of course, we were talking about in previous videos, how is it going to work with a touchscreen? Because the touchscreen was previously where all the moves were. So it looks like it's going to be very clean here, just at the bottom right of the screen, not taking up too much room, which is good, and just allowing enough still for everyone else to be shown. Another thing worth pointing out is you actually see the trainer still in the back of the battle, which is what Sun and Moon introduced. I don't think you see your trainers, you yourself, you just see the enemy trainer. I'm not too sure though, I can't clarify that. But this picture of Bulbasaur attacking makes you think that might be the case because your trainers are not behind you. Who knows though, who knows. And last thing to look at in terms of game UI is the Pokedex. So obviously there's a Pokedex in the game, even if it's only the first 150, 151 Pokemon. But you can see here, you have Pokedex number, Poliwag, information about him, stuff like that, change form, search Pokemon, switch language, simple stuff like that, nothing too special there at all. Record of catches, caught 2. It seems like catching might be, obviously it's a core mechanic, but a thing to keep doing, because of course there's no battling mod Pokemon, so the question is how do you earn experience? Apparently you earn experience by catching them, so maybe it's just a case of going, you catch Pokemon, you earn experience, catch another one, you earn more experience, so it might be a bit repetitive gameplay, but if it's Pokemon Go players they're trying to aim at, then of course they're used to that, so who knows. We also have, it would seem, following Pokemon in these games. Again, this might be another test for the core series games to see how well it goes down, how well it performs on the system itself, but you can see here we have 2 players, one being followed by a Nidoking, one being followed by a Nidoqueen. And then similarly we have Gengar and Electrode on the screenshot. We also have you riding a Lapras, so maybe Pokeride returns. I think one of the rumours, one of the leaks said that Pokeride does return, so I would imagine they'd keep it in the series, who knows though, or this could be your own Lapras you're riding on. Then we have some more interesting ones, which is Charizard. You're flying on. Again, if this was Poké Ride, you'd probably just fly straight away. So maybe I'm thinking here, he's got a Charizard and he's riding on him and flying around on him instead of a walking animation. Who knows? And then finally have the player riding on top of an Onix. Now again, this would not be fly, so it would seem that if you have an Onix following you, you literally ride the Onix instead of it. So who knows? We'll find out with more information on the games. A few other things to talk about though. Of course, they're going to add some petting and interaction here. You can obviously stroke your Pikachu. Maybe this is very similar to Pokemon Refresh. It's a very basic Pokemon Refresh though, because all you have in the bottom right is the berry one, which I think is again from Pokemon Go. But maybe again it's testing stuff out for Pokemon Switch or the Core Series games. Other stuff you can do, you can also dress up your Eevee or your Pikachu, which is another reason why it's probably unlikely you're going to be able to evolve them. Eevee, you can see here, just got a bow and then you can put glasses and stuff on it. Same with Pikachu, you can dress it up. So it's unlikely you're going to be able to evolve these Pokemon, especially because, as you saw in the Mewtwo cutscene, Pikachu's on your shoulder at the time, so it seems like he's always going to be with you, which makes sense. It would be the best way to do it. And then, yeah, you can obviously goes through in battle as well, and it seems like that's going to be kept there. Another thing to talk about as well in terms of Pokemon Go interaction is Pokeball Plus. This is like an extra Joy-Con controller you can buy for like $50, pretty expensive. Apparently you can play the game with it. I don't know how you play the game with it because it's only got like one button, I can see at least, but who knows. Again, you can use it to catch Pokemon by throwing or by shaking it, similar to the Joy-Con. But you can also then take your Pokemon for a stroll. Well, I say Pokemon. Oh, yes, take your Pokemon for a stroll. It might just be Pikachu or Eevee, who knows? And actually, I see there's like a shot of a girl with Pikachu, so obviously it's not gender locked, obviously. But it seems that yeah, you can take a Pikachu or an Eevee, or maybe any Pokemon for a stroll, and maybe it levels them up like a pedometer back in Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver. Just take him out, and obviously then yeah, he just goes in the Pokeball, and it's a bit cringy because they stroke the Pokeball, and yeah, I can't really see, at least with the Pokeball, because you could see and play stuff on it. This just seems a bit weird. The other thing that's worth mentioning though is that you can use it as a I don't know what it's called, the thing, you know, like you can buy for Pokemon Go, it's like a Pokemon Go Plus, you can use it for that as well, so I guess it's dual purpose in that sense, even if it is more bulky and costs $50. But another thing to bear in mind is on this screenshot where you are asked, it's asking, do you want to take a Pokemon for a walk? The three options are save your progress, take your Pokemon for a stroll, back to your adventure. So it seems like this is like the main menu or something like that. So you can save and finish, take your Pokemon from a stroll. Being on this menu seems like it's going to indicate that if you take a Pokemon out of the game, you can no longer play the game. It pauses it, for example, and then you have to put the Pokemon back in, which would make sense if it's Pikachu or Eevee, because of course you need to have them on your shoulder in the game. So maybe once you take a Pokemon for a stroll, you can no longer play the game until you put it back in, which makes sense. You're not going to say, I'm going to take Pikachu for a stroll, take him out, 5 minutes later be like, oh, I need to play the game, but I don't want to put Pikachu back in. That doesn't make any sense. So it seems to be something that would lock you out of the game, which might cause an issue if you lose it. Who knows though? Who knows how that's going to work? Another thing worth mentioning with Pokemon Go, you can send Pokemon from Pokemon Go into these games, and it goes to Go Park, which is obviously just going to be a small side area, maybe in Pallet Town, and you can go in there. You can interact with these Pokemon you see. Who knows if you can catch them? I assume you can, otherwise it would be a bit silly. It would just have them in there for no reason, but also there might really need to be some restrictions, because as I said, if it is in Pallet Town, I'm not sure where it is, but if it is in there, you can't really transfer a Charizard across and just pick it up and play the game. That would be a bit weird. Who knows though? Who knows indeed. And the very last thing worth mentioning is right at the end of the trailer, a gift is being sent to Pokemon Go here, and you can see the text says, you'll meet a special Pokemon. Now this is very interesting indeed, because as I said, there's only 151 Pokemon in here, and some Alolans. Of course, initially you might think, well, maybe they're going to add a new evolution. But, thinking about it, most of the evolutions are going to be missing anyway. You're only going to have Jolteon, Flareon and Vaporeon. So why would they add an extra one and leave the other like 5 unobtainable? Also, you can't even evolve your partner Pokemon Eevee. So that would again be wasted, because you wouldn't be able to actually make use of it in the game, unless there's another Eevee you can catch, which I assume you can. So what is it going to be? Some people have theorised, I don't know if this was part of the leaks or not, that Eevee's going to get a new form, because of course Eevee's pretty weak. So if you're expected to use it throughout the game as a partner Pokemon, I don't know how that makes sense. But maybe it gets a new form or powers up or something. or maybe a special Pokemon is going to be a tease for Generation 8. Was it Generation 8 or Generation 9? Generation 9, I think. I can't remember now. Generation 9. No, wait. Generation 8, yeah, that's the one. I can't remember. Maybe it's a tease for that, so maybe we're going to have like one Pokemon in there that's from Generation 9. Who knows? Or maybe it's something entirely different. Maybe it's just Mew. It could just be Mew. Or it could be a Pokemon Go related thing because it's in Pokemon Go here. So who knows? That's just my thoughts. In terms of how I think about the games in general, I'm going to buy them, or at least buy one copy. Who knows if I buy both? $60. I'd hope they're not $60, but they probably will be. Because these don't seem like full games. These seem like Pokemon Go with an RPG in the back, basically. So that's just my thoughts. Who knows though? Maybe once some more information comes out, they seem like more fleshed out games. Another thing worth mentioning is, of course, the Joy-Con shaking and throwing to catch Pokemon. You might be thinking, how's that going to work in handheld mode when I have both my Joy-Cons attached to the console? We're just going to have to go throw the console back and forth. Who knows? Apparently, some information here says that you have to move the console using the gyro with no touch. So it's not touch control where you swipe. You have to move it with the gyroscope and maybe have to aim and then press A. That's one possibility here, because I do think on the website it also says something along the lines of who knows, I might be on the wrong page. Where is the page I want? Here we are. I think I found it. I went on the wrong page. Nope, that's not what I wanted. It says something like you can catch Pokemon either with the catching made easy, which is just a bit cringy to be honest. Here we are. Now you can use your Nintendo Switch's Joy-Con to toss a Pokeball at your target with one hand, either by pressing a button or flicking your wrist. So it seems like you can still press the A button to catch Pokemon. Otherwise there might be some complaints about maybe people that are emotionally impaired. Oh, emotionally impaired? Yeah. That can't move their wrist and flick their wrist, that just want to play the game still. So I'm guessing there's going to be some way. Who knows exactly though. But I think that's everything to cover here. As I mentioned, this is my 2000th video. I've been putting off a 2000 videos since, well, January, when I stopped my last uploaded videos, mainly because I didn't know what to upload or what to make, or I knew it was going to be terrible. This seemed like a good opportunity, so here I am. I'm not going to say it's going to be a series of videos because I can't rely on myself. Apologies. And generally in life as well, I just had my last year of university, which meant I was working a lot on final year project and stuff, which, you know, obviously it's been you know, one indicator, one factor as to why I haven't really uploaded, because I just had less time in general, and also it might be to do with the fact that I've spent like, I don't know, must have been, yeah, I've spent over 600 hours on my Switch this year already, so yeah, it's my bad. And I'm starting a job in a couple days time, couple weeks time, so I don't know how much time I'll have after that, or whether I will just come home from work and want to fall asleep. So I can't promise any more videos. I'll try and upload and give my thoughts on some new things that come out, but I can't promise they'll be daily or weekly or anything like that, because it's life. You know, this is not my job. It's just a chill. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, guys. Feel free to let me know your thoughts and feelings about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, as well as the Core Series games for next year, and also Pokemon Quest if you feel like it. Let me know if you've played the game and how bad it is, basically. But this will be it for me for today, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I will be seeing you next time. If there is a next time, I'm sure there will be. Who knows when though. But, yeah, that'll be it. Goodbye, my friend.